Should you invest in Dubai or Abu Dhabi? That's one of the first questions I get asked from expats looking to buy in the UAE. And more often than not, they've never even looked beyond Dubai. But I've helped clients buy in both cities, and I've done the research most people skip. Because the truth is, both cities can work if you understand their strengths and you know what kind of investor you actually are. So in this video, I'm going to break it all down. How Dubai and Abu Dhabi compare, not just on lifestyle, but real numbers, supply, growth and returns, and how to make the right choice without tunnel vision. And just before we get into it, we've created an exclusive WhatsApp broadcast where we share off market opportunities, pre-launch discounts, and deals we don't post anywhere else. It's completely free to join. There's a link in the description. If you want to go and check it out, follow it below. A lot of people think Dubai's growth story is finished. They say if you're buying now, you're just overpaying and there's no upside left. Now, I don't believe that's completely true. Although for some parts of the market, I do believe that is true. A good example would be a downtown 2-bedroom launching at 1.8 in 2022, reselling for 2.6 in 2024. Now to buy a 2-bed in 2025, you're looking upwards of 3 million dirhams. So is there much upside? Well, it really depends on what you're buying and where you're buying. Here's how I see it. Dubai right now is becoming a bit of a retail market. Most of the demand is coming from retail investors, end users and smaller buyers who don't always dig into what they're buying. And that's why you see so many bulk standard launches, 1% payment plans and post handovers. But at the same time, Dubai is still breaking records. There was 760 billion dirhams in property transactions in 2024. And the money flow here is far stronger than Abu Dhabi. But the city scale is unmatched. You've got branded towers, penthouses, duplexes, villas, plus non-stop infrastructure, new islands being built, upgrades on new metro lines, bridges, airports, and that's why you need to be selective. Now, personally, I've been working with those bigger budget clients because honestly, I just don't see the value in lower end launches anymore. The real upside is in the unique, scarce products. If flexibility is what you want, the ability to sell fast, buy unique, get into short-term rentals, get into long-term rentals, then Dubai is probably the safer bet. But don't just grab anything. We're seeing a lot of oversupply in towns outside of the main cities. Buy established communities, buy from reputable developers, buy where people have seen track record previously. But I want to talk about Dubai's drawbacks. The flip side is people assume Dubai only goes up. But of course, history says otherwise. In past downturns, some areas have corrected by 30 to 40%, mainly because of oversupply and flipping. And that risk is still here. There's over 210 units expected to hand over 2025 and 2026. Dubai moves fast, it's dense, and it has always gone through cycles. But this time, I believe it's different. People aren't just investing here, they're relocating their entire lives. And I'm seeing this firsthand from the properties I'm selling to families and end users. But honestly, the way to protect yourself is buy scarcity, waterfront properties, good branded residences, prime districts, legacy communities by top tier developers. These hold their value far better than generic towers when the market turns. People sleep on Abu Dhabi because it's not pushed in people's faces the way Dubai is. It's not marketed as heavy. And I think that's exactly why it's still massively undervalued. Although that is slowly catching up. A good example, Sadia Island, where we saw villas jump 30% in 2 years as buyers were getting priced out of the Dubai market. And naturally what we're seeing, supply is a lot more tightly controlled by big developers like Aldar and Modon. And generally we're seeing beachfront properties 30 to 40% cheaper over in Abu Dhabi. And there are major catalysts such as the 30-minute fast train from Dubai, and then the global attractions like the Ferrari World, the Louvre, the institutional players. You've obviously heard of BlackRock and the G42. And also for anyone who lives over in Abu Dhabi, you'll probably notice the air quality is generally better. There's cleaner winds, smarter roads, and less construction. And one thing you'll notice about lifestyle, it's calmer, it's more family focused and wellness focused. And I can say this firsthand, I've personally sold over 35 million dirhams worth of off-plan villas on Hudaria Island, which shows two things. Buyers are waking up to the value in Abu Dhabi and this island and the confidence in building in Abu Dhabi's new master communities. So if you're thinking long-term, especially beachfront, Abu Dhabi is undervalued by far. Now, what are the drawbacks of Abu Dhabi? So the reality is, Abu Dhabi doesn't run at Dubai speed, 18.7 million tourists in 2024 and Abu Dhabi had 5. That's a huge difference and it shows in rental demand and resale speed. Now, as much as we do see a slower resale in certain segments of the market, as I said, residences like the Nobu and the Mandarin Oriental demanded a huge premium even after 1 year, and people are able to flip these walking away with a lot of profit. Now, to summarize, Dubai wins, in my opinion, if you want short-term rentals and product variety. However, Abu Dhabi wins if you want undervalued beachfront, controlled growth, and family lifestyle. Both benefit from upcoming infrastructure, such as the train, as you know, but they serve different goals. Now, I do have a personal take. As a young guy without a family, I probably wouldn't live in Abu Dhabi right now. I think it's a little bit too quiet. There's not enough hustle and bustle, but I can see myself changing my mind in the future when I'm older, maybe when I've got kids, and then that will live up to the lifestyle I want. Now, if you want advice tailored to your situation, I've opened up a few free one-to-one calls where we'll run through your budget, your strategy, your timing, and figure out whether Dubai or Abu Dhabi, or a mix of both, makes sense. The link is in the description. So now you know how to decide between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. But here's something even crazier. There's a strategy where buying a 20 million dirham villa property actually can get you a free villa. Now, it sounds a bit wild, but it's real, and I break it down in the next video, so click here to watch.